Hello, 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 my people. Good day to you, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whatever time zone you're listening to this, thank you for tuning in every single day to listen to me on Daily Mind Shifts. My name is Michael Ujuela for Mindset Transformation Africa. And first, I want to apologize if you're hearing any background voices. I just had to record this. I'm on the move, all right? So you might be hearing hooting sounds from cars and trucks passing by, all right? So just bear with me. The quality of today's audio. Nevertheless, do not doubt the quality of today's wisdom. Today we'll be talking about something around the law of unstoppable momentum. The law of unstoppable momentum. Welcome once again to another episode of Daily Mind Shift. I want to start by asking you a question, and I want you to really be honest with yourself as you listen. Have you ever woken up, you looked at your to-do list, you looked at the goals you set for yourself just a few weeks ago, and you felt absolutely nothing? No fire, no excitement, just a heavy bone deep sense of fatigue. Maybe you are in that particular season right now. You're doing the work, you're pushing for the dream, but the initial spark is gone. The adrenaline has worn off, and now you are technically, it's as if you're stuck. You're left in the middle of the grind where the finish line feels miles away and your battery is flashing red. This is the moment where most people stop. This is the place where dreams go to die. Not because they were not good dreams, but because the dreamer ran out of feelings. But today, we're going to have a different kind of conversation. We are going to talk about why your fatigue is actually a sign of progress and how you can keep moving when the tank feels empty. So today's mind shift is a powerful one, and I'm anchoring this on this statement. Momentum survives seasons of fatigue when commitment replaces emotional dependency. Momentum survives seasons of fatigue when commitment replaces emotional dependency. Listen to that again. Momentum, that unstoppable force that carries you towards your destiny, doesn't need you to feel good. It doesn't need you to be inspired. It just needs you to stay in motion. But to stay in motion when you are tired, you have to break your addiction to feeling like it. Many of us are addicted to feelings. You have to replace emotional dependency with cold, hard, beautiful commitment. Let's talk a little bit about the nature of momentum. In physics, momentum is mass in motion. Mass in motion. It is the tendency of an object to keep doing what it's already doing. If you are moving, momentum wants you to keep moving. If you are sitting still, inertia wants to keep you sitting still. The hardest part of any journey is the first few inches. It is the static friction, the energy that is required to get a heavy object to move, to budge. Once that heavy object is rolling, it takes more or less energy to keep it rolling. If you've ever played with tires, like when you're a kid, you will understand this. The first force for you to move that tire is the one that you need. After a while, the tire keeps rolling, you just guide it. The problem is that most of us treat our lives like we are trying to push a car up a hill using only our emotions. When we feel high, we push hard. When we feel low, we let go of the bumper. And what happens? The car rolls back down to the bottom. You lose all the ground you gain because you are dependent on an emotional state that is by its nature temporary. Emotions are like weather, all right? Emotions are like weather. If you don't like it, just wait 10 minutes. It will change. But you cannot build a skyscraper based on the weather. You build it based on the blueprint. You build it based on the foundation. You build it regardless of whether it is sunny or it is snowing. This is where emotional dependency traps us. We've been sold a lie that we should always love the process. We should always feel passionate every single second. But let me tell you the truth, all right? There are days when the process is boring There are days when the process is painful. There are days when the process feels like a chore. If you only work on days you feel pressure or you feel passionate, you will only work about maybe 3 days in a month. And you cannot change the world working 3 days in a month. It's not possible. It's not even practical. Seasons of fatigue are not a sign that you are on the wrong path. They are only a sign that you are actually on the path. Growth is taxing. Change is exhausting. If you are not tired, you probably are not pushing hard enough. The fatigue is the resistance of the old you fighting against the emergence of the new you. It is the friction of transformation. So, how do we survive these seasons? How do we keep the momentum alive when we just want to call up and quit? The answer is in the shift from feeling to commitment. And what is commitment? Most people think commitment is just a stronger version of a wish. But true commitment is a decision that you made in advance. It is a promise you make to your future self that you will honor the plan regardless of the mood that you wake up in. Commitment is, let me call it, the autopilot of the soul. Imagine a pilot flying a plane from Lagos to Abuja, from New York to Los Angeles. Do you think the pilot stays inspired all through for all the 6 hours or how many hours you fly? Do you think they sit there staring at the clouds, feeling a deep emotional connection to the joystick the whole time? No, they are humans. They set the coordinates, they engage the system, and they trust the instrument. Even if they get tired, even if they get bored, the plane keeps moving because the system is committed to the destination. Why do we treat our own dreams with less respect than we treat maybe a 9-to-5 job? Why is it okay to fire yourself from your own destiny just because you are tired, just because you're fatigued? Here's the instructional part of today's Mind Shift. I want to give you a tool. All right, let me just call it that. A tool to use when the fatigue sets in. And I call it the minimum viable action, MVA. The minimum viable action. When you are in a season of high energy, your actions are big. You run 5 miles. You write 10 pages. You make 50 sales calls that day. But when the season of fatigue hits you, those big actions feel impossible. And because you cannot do the big thing, you end up doing nothing at all. And when you do nothing, you break the momentum. The minimum viable action is the smallest possible version of your habits that keeps the momentum alive. It is the 1-inch move that I want you to make. So if you are too tired to run 5 miles, your minimum viable action is to put on a running shoes and walk around the block maybe twice. If you are too tired to write a chapter, your MVA is to write 1 sentence. If you are too tired to do a full hour, full deep work of, like, your minimum viable action is to set a timer for 15-25 minutes and do just one thing. The goal of MVA is not results. The goal of MVA is momentum. It is about telling your brain we are still moving. We are still the kind of person who does the work. We are not stopping. Momentum is a jealous lover, all right? If you ignore it for a few days, it will leave you. If you give it just a little bit of attention every day, it stays with you. It survives the fatigue and the tiredness. You see, my friend, fatigue is a physical state, but quitting is a mental decision. You can be tired and still be in motion. You can be exhausted and still be committed. In fact, the most powerful momentum is the kind that is forged in the fire of exhaustion. So, I want to challenge you today to change your vocabulary. Stop saying I'm exhausted. Start saying I'm in the middle of high growth season. Stop saying I've lost my motivation. Start saying my commitment is being tested and I'm passing the test. Because words have weight. Your words carry power. So as you go about your day today, carry that with you. Wear your fatigue like a badge of honor, but don't let it become a ball and chain, all right? Let it be the evidence that you are in the game. Let it be the proof that you are stretching your capacity. And most importantly, let it be the catalyst for a deeper commitment than you've ever had before. So go out today and keep moving, keep pushing, keep shifting your